Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to that Flavor in Your podcast. Today, we got a very special guest. I'm very happy to be here today with someone that, I've seen mature from 15-year-old to a grown man to basically now having his lifestyle. And Nick Bonitto, thank you for coming, man.
No, happy to be here for sure.
And we got David, another one that I've seen since basically younger. He's been around forever. The future stylist.
Yes, sir.
If you want to get right, visit Kicks Daily. My boy's going to get you right.
Hey, man. It's always family over there.
It's always family. It's family here. It's family there. It's family everywhere. So, Nick, I appreciate you for coming, man. This is a long time coming. Before we start and we get into everything, I was actually talking to Dee last night. We were talking. Do you remember the trip that we had from Atlanta? That AAU trip was from Suwannee. That the flight came crazy and I had to drive back.
Was that the Memorial Day one?
Well, it could have been.
Yeah. I think it might have been that one. I was playing with y'all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we played each one teach one.
I remember that tournament now.
Yeah, that was crazy, right?
Yeah.
I was telling David like how crazy that thing was because I had to drive back with none of the adults, and I thought I got barely any sleep.
Yeah.
And I told you and CJ, hey, y'all gotta just talk to me the whole way through. y'all gotta keep me up because if not, I'm not making it.
Yeah.
And we was talking about all kind of CJ asking all these crazy questions. And it was nuts. I was thinking about that the other day. He actually reminded me. Well, we were playing each one teach one. Marvin Bagley was playing in the court right behind us.
Yeah, I remember there. I was talking. That's funny because I was talking to my brother about that the other day because we were talking about just tournaments and stuff. And I think they were playing CB3 right next to us. So
yeah, the court was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we were sitting. We were like getting bunched in.
Yeah.
We were getting bunched in. I remember telling David, I was like, "You was cooking that game." And I remember, you know how Lex is. Razor 6, Razor 5, Razor 4. And you had just scored, 4 or 5 points on who. I forgot who was guarding. I know Mick was guarding. Michael DeVoe.
Yeah.
And you were cooking somebody. Somebody was guarding you, and I can't remember who it was, but you were cooking them. And I remember came into a timeout, and you asked me, you said, "What did he say?" And I said, "Fuck that. Cook his ass." I said, "Fuck that play.
Yeah.
Cook his ass. Just soon as you get it, go."
Yeah.
And you was like, "All right." Sure. You didn't even question that. So, and that was a crazy game. Danilo got a big time block.
No, I remember it was a good game for
We almost got into a fight with Nike Team Florida. A game before that.
Yeah.
So it was a good weekend. I think it was Memorial Day weekend though.
Yeah, I think so. I think I remember that.
And for the long story short, how it ended up happening was me and David's dad went out. We got back super late, and I had to drive, and then y'all got late to the airport, and they split up the flights.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they made it, where only you and CJ flew to Orlando.
Yeah.
And everybody else flew to Miami, and then some of them stayed back for a later flight.
Yeah.
So that was nuts.
Crazy how it happened, but
yeah,
we got home, man.
What's crazy is that Marvin Bagley and them was playing right behind us.
Yeah.
I forgot completely about that until we talked about that.
No, in fact, it was a good tournament for sure.
So how we start off every segment is how you got started. Where did your passion from football begin? At what point did you think this is what I want to do? I want to take it serious. I want to pursue it. Was it late in high school where you really thought? Was it early junior league? Where did it all start for you?
I don't know. I feel like it all just kind of started obviously I loved playing football when I was young and just growing up, I loved the game, just playing it, not really taking it seriously. Just, going between football and basketball, just playing both sports and having fun with that. But I don't know, it kind of didn't feel real, I can do it really until probably when I started getting a couple offers, and
Which was sophomore year?
Yeah, around there. And coaches, just started telling me just I can really make something of the game, they want me at the school, and as a kid getting all that attention, it kind of makes you realize okay, maybe I could actually go to the league, and stuff like that. So probably around there when I really thought it was a good dream for me, but really just growing up, it was just something I love to do.
Yeah, and was it always business, or were you just having fun?
No, I was always having fun. I really didn't make it a business until I got to college for real, but just always having fun. Playing with my guys, that was just more of a thing for me growing up.
Yeah. So it was just, I'm just doing what I do. And then,
yeah.
And then in college, we'll get to that point, but let's talk about St. Thomas Aquinas. Obviously one of the most prestigious high schools to play football at in Florida and in the country. Yeah. What was that experience like? Some of the coaching staff, you have legendary coaches there, and you guys traveled a lot. What were some of your best memories there? Do you really think that it prepared you for college, being around some of those guys playing in a program like that, or you think you just could have done the same shit if you went to Dillard?
I most definitely, as far as individually, I probably could have got offers there. I probably could have put up the stats that I did there or wherever school. But when as far as St. Thomas goes, there's nothing that can prepare you like St. Thomas because of the competition factor.
Right.
You're going against the best players, in South Florida day in and day out. Their guys going to be, in front of you, behind you on the depth chart that have P5 offers. So. It kind of makes you want to, bring your hard hat every day, come to work every day, get better, and
stay hungry.
Yeah, stay hungry. I mean, it kind of just pushes you every day to be better, and that competition is kind of a thing that prepares you for the next level because everybody's good.
Yeah. What was your best game? What do you feel like is your most memorable game or your favorite game that you played?
St. Thomas.
You guys played Bishop Gorman, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's a crazy game.
That was a crazy game. That was probably the craziest game I've probably been a part of. Just because, we traveled out of state. You don't really get to do that much in high school.
You played neutral ground or over there?
We played over there in Vegas.
And their facility is crazy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
and
I've heard their facility is nuts.
I think it was like a top 5, top 10 matchup. I don't remember, but just good players on both sides, 5 stars on both sides. A lot of, players that are going to be playing Division I and the next
Anyone
one.
from that team become a teammate of yours?
Not that I could think of.
So nobody from there went to Oklahoma?
Yeah.
All right.
But it's just...
You guys won?
No, we lost.
Lost?
We were supposed to win. It was crazy, but...
It was like back and forth, right?
Yeah, that's what I remember. I remember being close.
Low scoring game the whole time. Ended up going to overtime too, but actually 2 overtimes. I think the first overtime...
Got scored first.
I can't remember if it was double or triple overtime, but basically we were supposed to... we had the defense was out first. We got to stop. Offense came out. Went down to like a 3-yard line. We're just like, we're going to kick the field goal, and then... We kick it and the guy blocks it, and then it goes into that next overtime, and they ended up winning that one. So, it was definitely a crazy game, crazy environment for sure. And it was on ESPN too. So.
Yeah, that's how I remember, tuning. I don't think I watched the whole game, but I remember while I was watching, I remember it being tight. That's why I was
that was a very close game.
And then at that point, now we're going into transitioning into college. Like you said, you're getting offers. For you, what was that experience like? I know a part of you liked Miami. Manny Diaz, he's long gone now, so we don't have to talk about him no more. But how was that situation? Like, how did that feel? Like, what is that?
That was like Manny wasn't there at the time, but that was my first offer. And, Miami was always cool because, like, they were the closest school to home.
Exactly.
But I always grew up a Florida fan. And, when they got in very late, so it was kind of like a tough thing to where, like, obviously I wanted to go there, but I can't ignore the schools that have been recruiting me since day one. Yeah. So it was definitely, a hard thing to do when it came to picking, a school. And Miami was there too. But, at the end of the day, like, I felt like Oklahoma, like, kind of showed me the most love from the beginning. They gave me the most, a family atmosphere. I can trust the coach and the relationship that we had. And I knew what type of situation I was getting into. So I felt the most comfortable going with them.
Yeah. Shout out to Pops too. He was like every AAU tournament.
Yeah,
I just thought about it. Pops was like, except for that weekend, the weekend I needed him the most, because if he would have flown back with you to Orlando, I would have had somebody to drive.
Yeah,
and I was telling.
No, he was there.
He was there, right?
Yeah, it was him, James, Lex, you. I think Tyler's dad.
Bro, I don't think so, because he would have. He would have gone out with us.
Why was James there?
He went and he did his own thing with Tyler Harris's dad. Because we were gonna go to the Hawks game because you remember the Hawks played the Cavs.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, the Hawks.
If Tyler Harris's dad was there, then I think he was definitely. My dad was probably there for sure.
Because I was like, I know he would have gone out with me and David.
Yeah.
If we were in the same. That's why I'm saying I don't remember.
Yeah, he was probably on a different type of time.
Okay, so maybe he was. I just don't, I needed him to come on that flight, bro, because that drive back was vicious. I was tired. That's what I'm saying. I don't think so.
He probably came back with me and my dad, or probably went back earlier with like Coach Lex. It was either one of the two.
Lex was one of the ones that was going straight. I remember that.
Yeah. Because
he called me and he was want to explain. Because I remember when I see you and CJ walking to the car, I was like, man, where's everybody else? I remember CJ opened the door and said, please tell me there's an adult with you guys. And I remember and I was telling him, David, I was like, yo, one of you were asking me the whole ride. Yo, coach, I'll drive. I was like,
CJ, probably CJ.
I was like, bro, you're not driving this car.
Probably
like
CJ.
I kept telling us, he's just like, oh, I drive all the time. I'm like, bro, I don't care if you drive to New York from your house. You're not driving this vehicle.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, and so now we go fast forward to Oklahoma. You obviously make that decision. For everybody out there, like, let's just say for anyone that went through the same thing you went through in high school, that had to make a tough decision, and probably yours is leaving home, right? And going to a new place, a big time program, not just from a playing standpoint, but from a leaving standpoint. You have any words that for the people out there going through that, where you went through right now?
Yeah, I mean, mostly just, trust your gut, follow your heart. I know that kind of sounds cliche or whatever,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's true. A lot of people are going to be trying to tell you the same thing, sell you the same dream. But at the end of the day, you just got to trust what your heart's telling you, trust, what your gut is telling you. And you just got to go for it. You can't be afraid to, be a kid that's going to go out of state or, disappoint, the hometown or the home, your home family, home friends. Because at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do and to get to that next level.
So here's something, I've debated this a couple of times with a few people. In basketball, if assistant coach is recruiting you, it comes down to, no matter what the head coach thinks, right? Like, you want to feel comfortable because that guy overall has control of every single thing, right? Because it's one unit at one time. Do you feel it's more important in football, like when your coordinator is recruiting you, because that's the guy that's coordinating your situation? Like, obviously you want the head coach has to approve everything and go through all that, but are you saying, like, should that person feel more comfortable with a coordinator or just overall with the top guy?
I would say your position coach is probably the most important when it comes to at least, like, trying to, like, please somebody or, like, who's going to be the guy to, like, control, your kind of your fate, whether you're playing or not, because he's going to be the guy that's going to be with you day in and day out. He's going to be the teacher. He's going to be the
But does he control the depth chart?
I would say so. Just because, the defensive coordinator, the head coach, he's going to be controlling everything, of course. But when it comes to just like practice and stuff, your position coach is most likely going to be the guy that's controlling reps, controlling who's going out there. He's going to be a guy that can vouch for you when it comes to playing time to your DC or your head coach. So, yeah, I definitely feel like the position coach is probably the most important when it comes to, like, you try to get on the field or you having playing time, stuff like that.
So that's in what that person values is important.
Oh, 100%.
Overall to everything else. Like, you got to feel comfortable with everything else, but the position coach is the guy that
100%. Got to have a good relationship.
Yeah, you got to have your back.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's key for those of you out there that want to take a tidbit into that. And what was it like just officially, like, moving away? Like, was it jittery at first?
It was something I definitely wasn't prepared for, just because, I always thought I'd be okay going away, going by myself. But, once you're actually doing it, like, you kind of, like, have to grow up a little bit, grow up fast. And that's something that kind of took me a while to do, but, eventually I was able to do it. But, it's definitely a whole new ball game when you're having to, move out of your home, go away from family, and, just basically, start fresh on your own. It's your first time since, never really. So
yeah, exactly, yeah. And that's key. So let's talk about Oklahoma. Let's get into Oklahoma. Obviously, big games. I saw a few. Texas, pretty wild.
Yeah.
All right, I saw a couple of those games. So what's that? Let's talk about your overall experience, your favorite games. Let's talk about the rivalries, right? Because those are big. What did you like? What did you enjoy most about Oklahoma? Your career there?
Just kind of like the people that I've met there along the way, people that have helped me grow, people that, kind of just I became lifelong friends with there, and just how I've been able to just grow, being with different people, and, how they've been able to help me, how I've been able to help them, and things of that nature. So that's probably what I say I can got out the most out of OU.
Yeah. Your favorite game?
Favorite game, I would say either 2019 Baylor or not last year, but the year before when we went into, like, I think it was triple overtime in Texas.
I think I saw that game.
Yeah, that was.
I saw that game. I remember I was texting Lex while I was watching it, and I was like, "Yo, this game is nuts right now."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably the best.
And that's a super heated rivalry.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The hate there is real.
Real.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So what's that like? Like explain it to the people that are outside, like looking in. Because I know what a Miami FSU rivalry is like. I know the
Yeah.
hate is super real, but I think this is double. Because
Oh, yeah.
I think like for us, it's like a rivalry. We'll just be like, man, F y'all, F y'all. But I think for you, for that rivalry, it's like they really want to like kill each other.
Oh yeah.
It's on another level.
Yeah, you'll be walking into we'll be driving into the stadium and you'll have like OU fans and Longhorn fans already ready there, and like one side's like already cheering for you and the other side's like giving you the middle finger.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Everybody's saying all type of stuff and like banging on the glass and stuff like that, and it's just crazy. And then once we actually like get into it, the way it's set up is like one locker room's on one side and the other locker room's on the other side. So we're going out to warm ups. You got to eventually like see each other and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's like sometimes there'll be altercations with the other team. Sometimes you just talking and just just going.
Just going, yeah.
Yeah, so that's fun too.
Whose fans are more savage?
I think our fans are. I think our fans are for sure. Like Texas fans are nasty, but like they're like a nice nasty. We're just nasty at OU. So
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
yeah.
So they get so aside from those games, when did you think like, yo, I had a game that really put me on the map? Like I'm starting to get noticed. Because like you had said in the beginning, like you didn't start treating it like a business until you got there.
Yeah.
Is that like, was that a learning curve? Like you like that first year you was just trying to have fun, like you usually do, and then you realize like, oh, I got to change my tune a little bit.
Yeah. The game that put me on the map, I would definitely say it's probably Florida game of 2020. It was the last game of the season because really I had a good year up to that point, and then kind of that game just like capped off a good year for me. And then after that game is like kind of when I started like seeing like my name getting popped up in like mock drafts and like NFL scouts talking about me and like all those things that you see on the media. My name just started buzzing around like that. So after that game and after that season, kind of just like you started to see my name out there a little bit, and that's when it kind of hit me like, okay, like next year is the year, like I can really like be out of here like in the NFL. So that's kind of when it hit me for real.
And that's when like it really became a business. Like I got to tighten up.
Yeah, that's just totally like everything changes. You got to actually prepare like you're gonna be a pro in the next year. So.
Yeah. And when you say that to the person that like from the outside looking in, like for the person that's going to be in your shoes one day, when you say you had to change how you approach that, it doesn't mean you were doing any less. It just means you were approaching your mindset. But what exactly does that mean? Like what did you change different that makes it feel like, yo, now this is, instead of doing this before, I'm doing this now?
Yeah, and a lot of people think it's just like on the field stuff. Like it's off the field stuff too, where it's like you got to be eating the right stuff. You got to be watching more film than you usually do. You got to be watching your opponents, not just knowing, their first thing, their first move that they like to do, but their second and third. You got to be able to have, counters yourself. You can't just have one move going into a game. You got to be having multiple moves that just in case that first move doesn't work. So just understanding schemes, understanding, tendencies of other players on the team, and just all the little stuff that helps, great players become that. You got to be able to do that yourself. So
and it's funny that you say that because every time I start reading like so many articles on like guys that are transitioning, it's always the same thing. Like, can they learn the playbook?
Mm-hmm.
Can they watch film and understand what's going on? Do they understand the schemes and all that? And it's funny that you say that you started like really locking in on that in college because you understand like, if you get to the next level, they're just gonna throw you in there, and you got to figure it out. Like,
because like high school, like you can just put on pads, you can just go out there and have a great game.
Yeah.
But like even in college, like you can kind of do the same thing, but when it comes to like that next level and wanting to prepare yourself, you got to do it.
Yeah, you have to do it. So that's for everybody. Everybody can get bigger, stronger, faster, but mentally is where you have to sharpen up. It's a mental game. At the end of the day, your skills can only take you so far.
Almost definitely.
And I see that a lot as a person that doesn't watch a lot of football personally. I only really watch when the Giants play or the Hurricanes play, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not watching like extracurricular football,
Yeah.
right? Like I would watch basketball. So I say like I see a lot of these things like where you watch like all these morning talk shows and stuff, and they talk about football for their stint, and I hear it. I say that people like Keyshawn Johnson and like even when I hear like Stephen A. No, not even him, because he's not really like an expert. But like when I watch like I Am Athlete, like the podcast, and I hear these guys talk about football and how they talk about it, they talk so much a lot mental things that you would think like the other stuff is just like if you have it, you have it. But if you don't understand how to play this way or understand how to think, it's really becomes difficult to be great.
Yeah, because like, and especially in the NFL, like, you know, you're there for a reason. Like, they picked you, they wanted you for a reason. You know, obviously you're as talented as a lot of these guys that are in the league. You know, obviously some more than other, but you're a talented guy. You know, they want you on the team. You know, it's all about what separates you because everybody's talented in the league. But I mean, if you have an edge over this guy because you watched more film than him, you know what he's gonna do. You know what step he likes to take and all these other things, then you have an advantage over him. You can play a little bit faster than him. So, I mean, it's just those type of things that you can have an advantage over guys in the league that are just as talented as you, more talented than you, or even less talented than you, that you can have that edge.
So now that when you were leaving, obviously when you entered the draft, you got there was so much buzz going around about Lincoln Riley leaving. Does that kind of disappointing to you? Like now that you see like a piece of what when you were there is like officially gone too, like. So now it's about to be like a whole new coaching staff, does that feel like distant to you now?
Or
does it still feel like family? Like, you will always be family.
You would definitely always be family. When it happened, it was kind of disappointing to see, but I mean, I know we have somebody there now that has a track record of being in national championships, that has a track record of winning, bringing good defenses into college football. So I mean, you know, we definitely got the right guy, and it's just a matter of, you know, just waiting to see what he's going to do this year. So.
Yeah. So no matter what, you still have love for the program itself.
Oh, most definitely a program for sure.
You'll always be a Sooner.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure. So going into the draft, what is going through your mind? Like the workouts, and here's the thing that I if I'm an athlete, I'm like super competitive, right? So I don't know what it's like to be in this world. In other words, to say, what is it like to like be, you know, like you say, mentally preparing yourself for something, but then hearing all these articles, all this outside noise, like now it's like really starting to build up. Like, and you know what's funny? And I remember like when you were in high school, right? And you were going into college, so much of the same commentary was the same. Like when you were going from high school to college, it was like, oh, he's not big enough to be at that position and he needs to get bigger. And as I'm reading all your stuff throughout the draft, it's kind of like the same commentary. How much does that bother you, bro? Like it's like, how much does that put a chip on your shoulder? Like want to be like, all right.
I mean, it definitely bothers me a lot because, you know, I feel like time and time again, like I've kind of shown like size really doesn't matter. But I mean, it just kind of didn't make sense too because, you know, there were guys that, you know, were my size and like they weren't saying the same thing about me, or, you know, I put up better numbers when it comes to like the strength portions, you know, at the combine or pro day or whatever. And, you know, things were getting said about me. So it was just like, you know, I kind of don't know what they're talking about. But at the end of the day, like that's kind of what the media is, you know. A lot of the stuff they write is just, you know,
an opinion.
Yeah, opinion, clickbait, a lot of that stuff. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I just, you know, go out and do what I do and make plays.
So how was that process? Like even preparing for it, going through it, and you put up good numbers throughout the combine, right? So you got to be feeling confident, and they're still saying these little negative things that are like, bro, I've already shown I could play, right? I've already put up the stats where I was at. I come into the combine, I crush it. I'm killing the times. I'm running, doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I'm in the top of the tier of all my position, and people still got something to say. Like, how does it affect you a little bit? Like, or does it only make you more like, you know, like does it? Because I see that a lot. So I've always had this debate where not really a debate, but I've always seen people. The media side always says these guys listen to us, right? They hear when we talk, right? And which is why like KD and stuff, they get on Twitter because they do.
Yeah.
You can either choose to let it affect you, or you can choose to let it motivate you and prove something. So how much do you think does some of it actually get you down? Like do you ever have self-doubt because of it?
No, never that. I always use it like as motivation. Like that's just how I am with anything. Like, you know, any negative thing that, you know, people say about me, you know, I kind of use it as motivation. You know, I'm gonna use this build to more material and kind of remember at the back of my head, and, you know, kind of, you know, while I'm working, you know, that's the reason why I'm working. There's a lot of people that don't think like I should be in this position. Yeah. There's a lot of people that, you know, that think that I'm not gonna make it, and, you know, I want to be able to prove a lot of the doubters wrong, and, you know, not just do it for myself also, but, you know, do it for the haters too.
Yeah. So, going through the draft combine, was it what you expected?
Yeah, most definitely. I was confident going into it, like that, you know, what the numbers that I was going to hit. You know, I had, you know, benchmarks that I wanted to hit in a lot of the categories, and I hit almost all of them.
Okay.
So, I mean, just, you know, having that confidence going into the combine. People actually don't realize, like, it's a long week because it's like 3 days, and like the first 2 days you're just spending it like just talking to teams and being in hospitals for all day, and it just takes a toll on you because you're not really eating. You know, you're in the hospital for so long, like it's taking up most of your day. You're meeting with teams from like 6 p.m.
They ask you all those funky questions.
Yeah.
So what was the craziest question you got asked? Do you remember? Or even with like the Broncos asked you a crazy question?
Broncos were pretty chill. That was actually my first meeting when I went there to the combine, because they actually like drew something up on the board, and me at the time I'm just like thinking they're drawing it up just like they just show me, and like they ended up erasing it. And then at the end of the meeting, they're like, "All right, do you remember what I drew up on the board?" And I was like, "Oh hell," I was like, "Nah, I don't remember."
Oh man,
I thought they were gonna draft me after that, but
you thought like, oh, he wasn't even paying attention. Yeah. Was it like a drawing that looked good, or was it like some?
Nah, it was just like
some abstract.
It was just plays they drew up. Actually, it was just plays.
Oh, it was the plays.
Yeah,
okay.
Plays.
So they expected you just like, yo, look all that.
Yeah, like I'm just like.
And how much of a window did you get to like actually look at what they drew?
And they do it on purpose too, because it's the first thing that happens when you get on there. They're like, "Hey, like nice to meet you. All right, let's go on the board." And they just start drawing it up fast. And I don't know if they want you to remember, or at least remember parts of it, but I couldn't remember anything because I'm just like just looking everywhere, get drawing fast, you know. And once they did that, they're like, "You got it," and like I didn't want to say no because I didn't want to seem like a slow learner.
Yeah.
So they're just like, "All right, I'm just racing now, whatever." Then they start showing my film. Then at the end of the meeting, like I said, they asked me like what the plays were and stuff like that. And I don't remember.
Okay, so you didn't get any crazy funky like, what would you do if there was $1 million here, like like those crazy.
It would just be weird stuff like, are you a cat or are you a dog, like stuff like that.
And you had to explain it.
No, just like there's no explaining, just pick one.
Oh, that's it.
Like it's like it's
no,
weird.
no context.
Yeah.
All right, so that's because I've always heard like they always ask those questions. I've even heard a team ask like sometimes they ask like 100 questions like to one person. It's like they're really trying to deep dive psychologically into how you're thinking.
No doubt. They definitely try and challenge you, some teams in there. So
yeah. Did you? So when you were in there, did you feel it was important to say what you thought was the best answer, or for you to just be yourself?
Definitely just to be yourself, because they already know about you. They've done the research. They've it's been a whole calendar year. They've been doing research on you. So I mean, at that point, if you're at the combine and you're not like being authentic with with the team and even with yourself, then that's kind of like a red flag. They already know everything about you, and they already know like everything you've done since you stepped on campus, and even some sort of like in high school, they know everything about it. So I mean, you just got to go up there and be authentic, really.
Yeah. And like at any point were you nervous? Like were you like, oh shit, I gotta.
Yeah, I was nervous just because like I know there was some stuff in college that I know that they knew about already and stuff like that. So I just had to be prepared to answer those questions.
So it was and at the end of the day, as long it's like anything else, they want to make sure your character is
most definitely
is straight. Locker room presence is just as important as skill.
Most definitely.
Locker rooms need to gel. They want to make sure guys are clicking, that you're part of the team. Mm-hmm. We just had a college coach up here that just said that, And I thought, we debated it back and forth about it, but he was basically saying he won't recruit a player from a losing program, right? Like he was like basically saying like, okay, if you were at a program and you averaged 30 a game, but your team won like 5 and like they lost 20, we won't recruit you, right? Yeah. So, but here's the thing to that too. Like I see like where they're coming from, because you say like if a guy's coming from a winning team, it takes a lot of moving parts to be a winning team, right? And if he's that good, he has to sacrifice a little bit and understand about the team concept itself, right? So I understand that. But then I say this. What about the guy that wants to just be loyal to his coach or to his team and says, you know what? I don't have to leave to do what I need to do here, right? I'm putting up these numbers, but that doesn't mean he's less likely to sacrifice to a better place, right? I see that there's something in loyalty, right? And not just being always wanting to take the easier route to win, right? Winning is important to someone like me. Like I want to win. I wouldn't want to lose 20 games and win 5, right? But I understand the context of, I want to do it. This coach developed me, or I've been here for this amount of time. Why leave now? And I'm still getting recruited. I'm still getting looked at, or I'm still gonna make it to the next level just by staying here. So I also feel like there's a sense of loyalty too that person shows, like because if sometimes when you get drafted, you don't get drafted into a winning team. Yeah. You can go to a bad place. Mm-hmm. That also shows that person is willing to stick with that situation even when it's bad, right? I think that there's some character in that too,
Yeah.
right? And I get the otother side of it, but I think like if you throw someone under the bus because of it, I think it's a little,
Nah,
it's
most
like a little
definitely.
flawed, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
It's a little flawed. So, because look at you got drafted into a great situation.
Yeah.
There's so many like the best division in football right now with the best quarterbacks, the best teams. Like it's gonna be a crazy race all year for you guys, and not everybody has that luxury. Some people are being drafted to the Falcons or I hate to say this, but the Giants, you know. But like it happens, right?
Yeah.
Or you know, it could be worse. It could be like the Washington. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, not everybody gets the luxury to go into a situation that's good. So I think that there's something to be said about someone that stuck it out and says, hey, you know what? We sucked, but I stayed loyal to me. I didn't sell myself to go somewhere else just to win.
Most
like
definitely.
if I was trying to make it work here, I think there's something to be said about that.
Most definitely.
So after you get all this combine stuff done, you get this out of the way. What's it like for you mentally going into the draft? I know you went on all your visits. How did you approach these visits? Was it like it's kind of like college visits, right? It's kind of like the same thing. You go on campus, they're showing you everything. Are they still interviewing you there? Like they're still checking you out, buzzing you out?
The interview process, like once I went to like visits on teams, like once you're on the visit, like they kind of already know about you at this point. It was just more of just having one-on-ones, just talking with coaches and just going around the facility. You're looking at the buildings, and those type of visits are just, you know, that's kind of like ideal of like who's really gonna draft you, who's really wants you, who really thinks
you went on a lot, right?
Yeah, I went on a lot.
Did you think they were all necessary? Looking back at it now,
I mean, not that, looking back at it now, because a lot of those teams passed on me.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, it was necessary for sure, but yeah, they were necessary, I would say.
okay, and you learned something from it
Yeah,
at the end
yeah,
of the
no
day.
doubt, and it was just more about if we drafted you, this is everybody we want you to meet, and we want you to be comfortable coming in day one, and you know, that's why I'm kind of happy I had my visit with the Broncos, because I kind of knew the coaching staff already.
And that was one of the last visits.
Yeah, that was actually it. Second to last visit.
Yeah, second last. So, because I remember we were talking about that, and then what was that visit like? Like, let's go because that's who you're with now. So let's go to that visit. What was that initial visit like? The arena, the stadium. You know, the overall experience there. Did you meet Elway initially on that visit?
I never meet Elway. But it was cool though. I honestly was surprised. I didn't think it would look like that. You know, going there, I'm just thinking it's like a bunch of mountains, snow everywhere.
Oh, Denver's a beautiful city.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, people sleep on that.
Oh yeah, and then just meeting everybody. You know, George Payton, Coach Hackett. You know, all the different. You know, Coach Burt Watson. He's my position coach, and you know, Coach E, the DC, just meeting everybody, you know, being comfortable with everybody, you know, just realizing, you know, how many cool people are in the building. You know, it was definitely, you know, something that, you know, that I was looking forward to if I did get drafted by the Broncos, and just the facility and everything was beautiful. And just being around there, you know, it just gave like a family vibe for sure.
Yeah, and a great time to be there. Mm-hmm. So you get on these visits, you come back. Now after you're done with the visits, what's going through your mind up to the draft?
Yeah, just like talking with my agents and stuff, they were saying just like my range and like that late 20s to 50 range. So I'm thinking like, you know, around there I'm getting drafted.
Yeah.
Kind of just like knowing that my agents telling me, you know, going into draft day, like there's no way I'm coming out the second round, if anything. So at least I know where I'm going around these, you know, that range. So, just having that range and just noticing, you know, where I'm going from.
How much did it bother you to see everybody that went in front of you that played the same position?
Yeah, it did bother me a lot.
Were some of the guys that got ahead of you, did you play against them? Like some of these guys like that you felt like, yo, I played against that guy, I rocked him. Like, or I know I
played against one dude. He's okay. I wouldn't be mad that he was drafted ahead of me. But it was definitely a lot of guys in my position that I knew I was better than, that like I seen like getting drafted ahead of me. Which I kind of like knew it could happen just because of the stuff that, you know, some of the stuff that happened with me at OU, and you know that was a reason, like a good reason why a lot of teams did pass on me, which I understood. And then also you got to think about like which team is, you know, in my scheme, and some of the teams weren't in my scheme, so I knew there was a chance. But I mean, it still hurt at the end of the day because a lot of the teams that I did have visits with, a lot of the teams were telling me like, oh, if you fall to us, we're not passing on you, blah blah blah. To see that happen on draft day, like it kind of did bother me a little bit, and having to wait, longer than expected.
Yeah.
It kind of made me upset, but at the end of the day, I felt to a great place, a great place I felt very comfortable with on my visit, and I'm just happy to be there and happy that I get a chance to win a Super Bowl. So
yeah, and that's key. Ideally, what it is. As long as it ain't the Cowboys. That's all I was praying for. I was like, man, don't go to the Cowboys.
No doubt.
I was like, yo, I got to start hating him if he goes to Eagles or the Cowboys. Like, Washington I could deal with.
Yeah.
Like I don't like Washington, but I deal with them, right? But I was like, Cowboys or Eagles? Man, I was like, I ain't never going to put on no Eagles supporting shirt. I'm never going to put on a Cowboys shirt. And I know you like the Cowboys as a kid. I know your dad loves the Cowboys.
My dad loves the Cowboys.
So I knew that I was like, don't go to any of those two teams because then I got to really just dislike you.
Yeah.
It's going to make it hard for me to root for you. But at that point, once you get drafted, you had that feeling. They flew you out the next day, right? You was up there already getting interviewed. What's that like? What's that like? Like when did that moment hit you? Like, yo, I've reached. Was it there after you got drafted, or was it once you arrived for the OTAs? Was it like, yo, this is official now?
Definitely when I arrived for a rookie minicamp, that's kind of when it like really hit me. Like I'm really a Denver Bronco. Putting on like my helmet and jersey for the first time, like I'm like really an NFL player, and like it was just so like felt surreal going through the practices that like I was actually there, doing it and being an NFL player. So I'll definitely say those first couple of practices.
So I don't want to put no pressure on you, but because I've been following your situation since the draft, like hard with I go on Bleacher Report, hit the Denver.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. There's some stuff late, especially when camp was coming to the end. I've seen a lot of like comparison in terms of how the Broncos want to use you to Von Miller. No pressure.
Yeah.
What does that say? Like what does that feel like? Like, oh man, I'm being like, yo, we're being compared to greatness right now. Like in terms of stuff, because he doesn't have a big body either, right? But he gets to the quarterback.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody stopping him,
Yeah.
right? And that's kind of your game. Like they compare your size and your speed and your. I saw Bradley Chubb said your first step is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They quoted him on that. So when you start saying it's like kind of like Von Millerish, that like his speed, his ability to get downhill and get to the quarterback. No pressure. But what's that like? Like does it give you like does that really put you like in a mold where like, yo, if they talking like that, like now that chip is really on the shoulder because I gotta live up to that. There's a lot of like greats that came out of Denver.
Yeah, man, that's just a guy like I've always looked up to. So I'm gonna always take bits and pieces of his game. So that's kind of where you see that come from. But I mean, being compared to a great like that, it kind of. Not that I was already not motivated, but I'd be motivated when I see stuff like that. Being compared to a guy that's great like that, and has done great things for this game, and just even when he texted me on Instagram and stuff saying good luck in Denver, like it's a great place, blah blah blah, and even that moment right there just kind of just hit me like. I want to be, where he's at.
Yeah.
I want to
one of the all times.
Yeah, dude. I want to do all the things that he's doing. So I mean, it's definitely motivating for sure.
And what's great about that is it's again a guy that doesn't look humongous in stature and beat the odds, right? And I feel like since you were in high school, you've been having to overcome these odds of people still writing the same shit over and over. And it gets even I get like I'm not you and I get exhausted reading it because I'm like, yo, it's the same stuff over and over and over. How many times do you got to prove people wrong before they stop doubting, man? Like, because it's the same comments and it's like, yo, in high school, oh, he's not big enough. He ain't ready to play at that position. He's not going to be as effective in high school. He plays on a great high school team, so there's leverage there. Then you get to OU.
Same thing.
You do your thing, same commentary. You get into the draft, same commentary. So it's kind of like when you've been seeing it for so long and that I've been following and reading it, I'm just like, bro, I'm not even him and I'm annoyed by it. Because it's like he continues to break the wall. But I also feel like it's good that people continue to do that because sometimes you just need a little motivation. You need people to breathe that into you to be like, all right, it's time for me to let you know what time it is. And that's always great. So what was that first OTA like? I know the rookie minicamp, and then you stayed for a couple more for like an extra month basically with the OTA, and then you got mixed in with the veterans.
Yeah.
So what's that like?
The first couple practices were kind of rough, not gonna lie, because it took me a little minute to get used to the altitude up there.
Okay.
My breathing was like really like Like it was.
So it's
just
really how they say it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's bad. So that took me like a couple practices to get used to. But after that, it was fine. And then starting to meet some of the vets that came in. They're all cool guys, all guys that love the game of football. They're not on some hating stuff. They want to help the next guy next to them. And it's just good to be around a group
winning
like
culture.
that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's good to be around a group like that because that just shows like we're a team. We want to win. We obviously we have individual goals in this game, but that main goal is to win a championship. And that's kind of what they bring to the table every day. So
And you got someone like Bradley Chubb there. You got what's the dude came from Dallas?
Randy.
Yeah, Randy.
Gregory.
What's it like to like play behind these guys and like know like they've been in pros for a long time? Like, are they giving you advice? Are they giving? I saw Bradley Chubb talk about you and say some great stuff. Are these guys like mentoring you? Are they talking you through things like rough patches or just how to be a pro? Did you do the pro thing already? Like they do the little pro thing where they sit you guys down, all the rookies, and talk to you about like professional lifestyles and stuff like that?
They do like little meetings. We have like a rookie development guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like that. Yeah, but as far as Chubb and Randy, like they're good guys. They're guys that like they're not treating me like this is a redshirt year. They're treating me like, all right, we're gonna have to need you to play this year.
Yeah.
So just making sure I'm knowing the playbook. Helping me on little things that they see on the field. Just all the little stuff that I can help to help the team win. They try to help me on that and stuff like that. So. Just helping me become a pro. That's another thing too.
So for the guys that are currently in college that want to become pros or are soon to become pros, is there that much of a difference now? Where you're like when you're there, like is it the not in terms of how obviously the play is different, right? Like the kind of caliber of guys you're around, but is the way you approach it that much more different?
Yeah,
it is.
Because just a story like from when I was there, I remember going to get to tackle on the team and. I remember that first day, not the first day, but one of the practices, I hit him with the move, and I'm like, okay. And then the next day, I try to come back and I hit him with the same move, and he just like washes me by, and like that's not like, yeah. So it's like okay, like now I got to get in the film room because this is like a chess match. Like you can't just come with the same move. He's gonna come with different move every time. So just playing with the guy in front of you and making sure you're keeping him on his toes and not giving him the same look every time because those guys study film too.
Exactly.
They guys know what's gonna come and something things that they should be prepared for. So I mean, just watching film and being dialed into different things that they do and that you should be doing is really major. So that film definitely got to be turned up another notch.
One thing I always hear a big disparity. From what I always hear from a lot of guys, like a lot of pros that speak on the game, they say people don't realize, like guys that are like Hall of Famers, that they'll talk about, say people don't realize how much faster it is in the NFL than it is in college, right? Like you don't realize it until you're there. Like you realize like O-lines are moving like crazy, guys are moving around. It's a way faster game, bigger game, stronger game. Have you felt that yet? Have you felt like, damn, like this is it, like I hit that wall a little bit, and then you feel like I gotta now adjust to this now. This is like a whole. Basically, what you were just saying, like you hit a guy with a move, next day you came back, he figured that out, and you got to continue to adapt.
And people really have it confused because it's not physical speed that like people like are talking about when it comes to.
Well, I'm one of those because that's what I thought it would be.
Nah, it's not that because you can see a guy that runs a 4.3 and you can have a safety that runs a 4.7 and. If that 4.7 safety knows what he's doing and he knows where he's supposed to be at this time and just knows like the ins and outs of the defense, like he's gonna play a lot faster than the 4.7. He's gonna play like a guy that runs a 4.2 and make that guy that runs a 4.3 play like a guy that runs a 4.5.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you know what you're doing, if you're dialed into the playbook, if you're watching film, if you know your opponent's tendencies, the game is just so much faster for you because all you got to do is just let your talent take over and. Compared to a guy who doesn't know what he's doing. Like me, the couple of first practices, I didn't know I was doing it. It just seems like everything was so fast and, I didn't know what I was doing. So it just, everything was moving faster. But yeah, just like I was saying, if you know what you're doing, you can play a lot faster. So
yeah. Did you feel like you had that same situation in college, like that first week? Like you was like, I had that curve?
Yeah, most definitely. And it can be intimidating because you're going against, let's say like in my situation, college and in the NFL, they throw me in. I'm going against, either
someone that could be older than you.
Yeah, the ones or the twos. So it's like, you're going against, starters basically.
Yeah, basically.
So it can be a little intimidating at first, especially if you feel like you're not making the plays that you're supposed to make. But, I mean, you just got to keep coming every day. just got to keep working. You know, you got to keep doing your part to get to where you want to be.
Okay. So how have you liked Denver so far? Like, have you experienced it? Like, I know you went to the Avalanche games, a couple of Avalanche. I saw that on the Instagram. They just won. Shout out to the Avalanche.
Yeah, no
They just
doubt.
won
Shout out to Avs.
So that's big time. I've never been to Denver, but I've seen the pictures. I plan on going in December with my best friend and his family. We were going to stay up at a ski lodge up there with the fam for Christmas. But I've seen pictures of downtown Denver. I've seen videos. Man, it looks like a beautiful place. What have you learned about it so far? Like, have you gone to anything like the locals would be like, yo, you gotta go there? Have you done anything like that?
Not really, just because I haven't had a car up there. But like you said, I went to the Avs game with a couple of the teammates. Been to a baseball game with a couple of the rookie guys.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, we actually went to our last trip. We went to the mountains. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was just a crazy experience up there. Just being so high up and just seeing different venues and all those things. It was a cool experience just being with the guys and doing that. So I would say it was it's been a good experience so far up there.
So being that you're from the city, right, Miami City,
yeah.
Right? So you've welcomed the change of pace from here to there, like the mountains and the whole thing. It's not as country as people would think.
No, not
people
at all.
think it's like that, but when you get up there, you're like, yo, this is a beautiful place. Like, so that's super cool. You have any personal goals? I know you're gonna have team goals, obviously. What you have any personal goals for your rookie year?
Yeah, man, I'm trying to be defensive rookie of the year for sure.
Okay.
That's the main goal right there as individually for me. Obviously, team goal, like you said, I want to win a championship for sure. But being a guy that comes in and leads rookies in sacks, being defensive rookie of the year, being the guy that teammates can see as being accountable. That's probably the main goal for me.
Did you have like any personal team that you're really looking forward to playing against, like on the schedule, like anyone that you're like, oh, I can't wait till we go there and play them?
Probably the Chiefs, just because Patrick Mahomes kind of been widely known as the best quarterback in the league. So just I'm not trying to duck no smoke. I'm trying to go see him for sure. So.
But you got Herbert too, though.
Yeah, Herbert's good, but
that conference is crazy.
No,
man.
no doubt. I'd rather see Mahomes.
That conference is out of hand, man. You got everything. Like, that's gonna be every game is about. There's no sleeping.
Oh, no doubt.
There's no games off.
No doubt.
That's the hard part of your not only your schedule. It's like we have to take out some conference games, and we can't be sleeping on these non-conference games because every game is gonna count in this division.
No doubt.
Like every game in this division is gonna count, and then on top of that, I keep saying conference. I mean to say division, but then when you say the overall conference is nuts
AFC's
too.
Loaded too.
The whole AFC is out of control. So it's even like Josh Allen. You still got
the Dolphins got loaded this year,
and then you got the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nuts, the whole conference. So it's like you can't sleep on no games that's not in your division because every game is so important for the divisional teams to within the standings.
Yeah, no
so
doubt.
it's nuts. And honestly, I feel like there's no better position to be in. I'd rather be in that position than in a losing position.
No doubt, 100%.
Right? Like I would rather be, even though we're in a losing position, I could say it gives you an opportunity to grow more, but at the same time, you can learn from people that are ahead of you and that have done it at a high level and still get a chance to compete and then still play your role.
Yeah.
Which is important. You get you get the best of all three. So I think that's freaking awesome. And ultimately you came into a winning organization.
No doubt.
Which
That's
is
the main
important.
thing.
Yeah. An organization that knows how to win. Like, they don't just stay down. Like,
yeah.
Every organization has their up and downs, but some just don't know how to
get back up.
They don't know how to get back up. Right? Come on, Giants. Let's get out of the funk already. It's been a few years. So we're at that point. Have you when you go around, like, have the fans like when you've gone to like Avalanche games and stuff like that, or just anywhere in the city to pick up a little quick something to eat or something, like, have the fans like recognized you and they're like, yo, like, said hi to you, or can I get a picture?
Yeah, there'll be times like just because I'll be scrolling on Twitter and like I'll be seeing like the little mention thing. It'll be like at Nick Bonitto.
Oh, someone took like a picture of you.
They're at the Avalanche game or whatever, stuff like that. So, just little stuff like that. It's kind of cool to see.
Yeah. Has it hit you yet? Like, yo, now I'm like, I gotta I'm like being recognized and like everywhere I go and look, Denver fans are.
Oh yeah,
they ride or die that blue and orange. So
no doubt.
You as when the season comes on, you're gonna feel them.
Yeah, no doubt.
So that's good. Look, We talked about everything that we needed to talk about. I think we've learned about your story, your history, your passion for football. I think Denver has a great player that's gonna do great things ahead. And I'm not just saying that because I know you personally. I'm just saying that because you've proven in every single level that you belong, and that I think shows something, right? There's guys that are ranked 5 stars, number 1 players, top 10 in the country, ESPN in the top 300, top 10. And then they go to the next level and they fall off, right? And in every place that you've been to, you've broken that barrier, you've broken that wall, even when people are praising you, which I think is nuts, right? And I think I would like to show you some appreciation. Me and David collaborated on something. We got you a little gift for one of your seasonal games because we think you deserve it, and I thank you for coming on this platform and giving your time and telling your story to the world. And let me get it out. I'm going to let you open it.
Oh, that's lit. That's lit.
So we got these. We collaborated with Souls by Sir. Shout out to Souls by Sir. He works with a lot of people in the NFL. We did this cleat specifically for the London game.
Yeah,
that's a big time game. So we didn't know what kind of uniform you were going to be wearing, whether it was white, blue, or orange. So we stuck to the orange theme because that would go with any of the 3. We stuck with the Bronco theme and London theme. So and if you noticed on the writing that comes from your favorite anime, the writing is from, what was it called?
Black Clover.
The Black Clover.
Yeah, no doubt.
So that's the same writing from Black Clover. And then it has your name, your last name, has the date of the game. It's got the Bronco on one side. So how did he say? So if you look at it from this side, let me see. If you look at it from this side, so like if you're standing from one way, right, it looks Bronco themed.
Yeah.
But if you look at it from the other side, it's now London themed.
Yeah.
So got you these for the game, man. I hope you enjoy these. We had to track down because we wanted to get you something that we knew you were comfortable wearing. So we had to I know he was messaging yo, what kind of cleat do you like? But we didn't want to give it away. But we thought this would be super cool for you. And thank you for coming,
these
man.
Are dope, man, for sure.
I hope you like them.
Nah, dude, these are dope.
100%. Size 13, so they should fit.
Yes, sir.
He switched them out to white laces because he thought it would look better. The original laces are in there, so however you want to, whatever you feel like is more comfortable. Yeah. A shout out to Souls by Sir. He does a bunch of players. JJ Watt, he's done Odell Beckham. He's done so many people. He's based out of Miami. So if you ever want to do something future with him, whatever, he does it all, man.
Yeah,
he does some really cool stuff. But we were talking about the scheduled game. I was like, man, not every team gets to play in London.
That's literally the first thing I brought up.
Yeah. So it's that's a special game. It's a special thing to play up there. It's a 9:30 a.m. game. So it's like why not that game? When we were looking at the schedule, we were like, we could have picked Kansas City because in hindsight, that would have been a good move because you really wanted that game. But we were thinking about it. We were like, man, the London game, not every team gets to go up there and play. So that's a big thing. And we figured that'd be a cool game. I really loved how they came out. I literally just saw them when I picked them up. I just kind of told them, look, go. We kind of gave them the theme. We talked about the Black Clover. We thought how we can incorporate your favorite character in there. But we were like, I don't know how it would fit, but we at least incorporated the writing.
Yeah, the writing.
So to give you something that was personal to you, I love how the bottom of the cleat
was camo.
Yeah, that was all David because I think David found those online. We were sending cleats back and forth, and
couldn't find nothing.
We ended up finding these, and we were like, yo, the bottom just goes flow with it. So you would never tell there was a swoosh on.
Oh no, not at all.
In on this side, on this side, but you would never tell because it's not there no more.
That's
so
dope.
Hold them up for the camera just so we're gonna tag Souls. Yeah, man, those things came out pimp, man. I like how they came out. And so I hope you enjoy those, man. I wish you the best on your career. Thank you for being a part of this show. Thank you for telling your story. We're gonna end it like this. For the people out there that have gone through your whole situation, that have gone from high school, that are now in college, potentially going pros. You got anything for those people? Any words of advice? Any words of encouragement? Maybe someone doesn't know how to deal with the self-doubt, from people writing about them. Is there anything that helps you that you might be able to give to them?
Yeah, I would just say block out the noise. 99% of those people that are riding, never played football in their life. So
That's
they wouldn't even know, what
it takes.
Yeah, what it takes, and all the sacrifice and hard work that you put into the game. So I mean, just got to work hard. Ignore the noise, and just play the game that you've loved since you were a little kid. So I mean, that's really all the advice I can give for.
Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Appreciate another episode, another great story. It's a pleasure for me because we potentially have a legend sitting down here, right? I think his career is going to be great. I think it's going to do well. And again, you call me biased, but sometimes you need to have a little bias in your system. So thank you guys for tuning in. Until next week, Flavor in Your Podcast. We out. Nick,
Yes,
David.
sir.
Hey, future stylist right there, man. Go
Sir.
holla at your boy, all
Hey,
right?
man. Take it to another level.
Take it to another level, all right? Getting everybody right. Appreciate it. Peace.